The broadcast is
Hey,
live.
we are live. All righty. Um, let me type a comment real quick. Can you do that? Do you have a place where you can comment?
Um,
I'm gonna try something now.
no, I do not.
No. Okay,
No, I can see comments. I'm afraid I would have to leave.
that's okay. Is there a link to
I hear
join?
something.
Uh,
Oh, you know what? Never mind. It says private chat. Okay, I just put
no,
a
not the.
comment in.
Yeah. Uh, so-
That's the only place for me to comment.
okay. I probably that's okay. I can't do what I need to do then. Okay. Hello. Let me see who's here. I don't even think I can see who's here. Let's see. I can't. So anyway, hey everybody, happy Monday. We are
Happy New
going
Year.
to. Oh yes, happy New Year, everybody. We are going to jump into part two of our conversation because a lot of people uh, felt like the original question or subject we kind of got off of that. So, Miss Siobhan, since you are the first lady that we have on our show,
Okay.
um, so what did you about what you? How did you feel about what you heard last time about um, black women being entitled?
Um, I think the broad and general statement is it's incorrect. Um, and I think that we need Rick to kind of explain a little bit more what he means. But just that statement in and of itself is kind of like, oh,
All right.
like
Well, I
that's
have
how it makes
some,
me feel. It makes me go, hmm.
so we have somebody. What's up, bro? How are you?
How you doing? I'm Steven.
All right. How you doing? Good to meet
Hello,
you.
Hello, Dre and Siobhan. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yep. You
are.
good?
Okay, I'm an invited guest by Shani Morgan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Heard about the conversation. And she said you may want to come join us and add your 2 cents. I said, oh, sounds interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I think you have the gist of what we're saying.
I think
Um,
so.
okay, all right. Well, go ahead, brother. Let us know. Let us know how you feel.
Oh well, what's the question before I?
Oh, no, sorry. So the question is, it was brought up that um, someone said they felt like black women were entitled, and it stemmed from a conversation of I was reading a bunch of stuff and just seeing a bunch of people comment that the reason why a lot of successful black men marry outside of their race
Mm-hmm.
is because they feel like black women uh, are entitled, which I don't know if entitled is the exact word that they meant. That's the word that they use. And then
Entitled.
talking to this person, I'm like, well, tell me what you mean. And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you may have like a black girl who may have like 3 kids, but she wants
Mm.
like a doctor with no kids, and he's
I
good.
see. I think
Like,
I got
you
the
know what
question.
I'm
Well, several things. That's kind of that's a lot to unpack.
saying?
And it's so funny you guys bring this up. I was watching this before I answer the question. I was watching this guy by the name of on my YouTube. channel. His name is Kevin Samuels, and he
Okay.
was talking about high value men and women wanting high value men and what does that look like, and it actually related to specifically black women looking for high value men, meaning that, say, if you're a black woman, like the example you gave, that may have 3 kids, and and say, hey, I want to marry this doctor, and his response was, maybe that might be not necessarily in your lane. You may want to down. Not downsize your taste or your pick, but kind of get somebody that would be more evenly yoked. So it's interesting that you guys bring that up because I was looking at that and it was just kind of I had all these thoughts about it, and then I talked to Shawnee the other day, and but to answer your question, I mean it's several ways you can look at that. I mean, we as black people we have a history that dates back to the tension between black men and black women. That dates probably obviously all the way back to slavery and how we have been separated, pitted against each other. Um, and then you can kind of look at today. There's conversations about black men against black women and black women, black men against black women, etc. Um, but as far as this that question, the lady having 3 kids and should she want a doctor? Well, I think you have to be realistic, and if that's what that person believes she wants and she can get, and I think I was about to say entitled to, then go for it. Now, I'll say on the other hand, that could be a lonely experience because while you saying, "Hey, I want this doctor," you could be overlooking a good postman, you could be overlooking a good construction worker, overlooking a good, custodian that guess what will love that black woman dirty draws, and so we have to look at it like that. And so yeah, I mean, so we have to be realistic. Now, hey, if that's what you want, I say, hey, go for it. But it could be
Hey,
a
hold
lot
on.
of lonely nights.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like that's a cultural thing? Because I see when I see these posts, because for me, I feel like that's more of like I think people do that in general. Like I know plenty of women who, they have a really good job, and
Mhm.
then like the guy that they with is just at home playing video games all day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
But I just mean, but I feel like that label gets placed on black women a lot. I mean,
Mhm.
besides like angry,
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Because my thing is, there's something to why a lot of successful African American men, and that's all I know. 'Cause I'm not a woman, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not
Absolutely.
saying
Yeah.
it's just a man issue, but
Hmm.
I know the stereotype for them is like, oh, or like Kanye said, he got rich and then he got on with a white girl or whatever. You know what I'm saying? My thing is like, you love who you love.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's the
But
other side too.
my thing is like, no matter how we feel, we kind of have to look at like numbers, and numbers wise, like
Yeah.
it's at an all time high. So like, do you think it's cultural or do you just think it's people in general?
Well, maybe I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, we obviously can't say all with anything, but you can look at, you brought up the point about successful black men, and we can say even looking at the things you see on TV, like entertainers and those kind of people, those athletes, and they do seem to gravitate to a Caucasian woman or a very fair skinned woman, maybe these exotic looking ladies. I played college basketball, and I played at a black college, but I got some friends that played at these white schools, and they told me that the reason they had white girls was because that's all that was around. I said, okay, well, I guess it is what it is, but that is prevalent when they get to that level of success. These guys say, "Oh man, I grew up in the hood," but you taking this white girl to glory with you, and you ain't taking that sister. But again, you love who you love, so I don't know if it's culture because if you grew up in a culture where you grew up around black people and black women, you got a black mama and black sister and black cousins and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it's just that old thing. Some people want what they ain't never had, and then when they got it, they don't know if they really want it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I feel you. I feel you.
So I guess it is some culture, but and then and then I would say on the other hand, I think it's you have to. I don't know, maybe some guys that don't really understand the value of themselves or the people around them and think that, oh man, I got this person on my arm that they perceive as a trophy. And guess what? She just like everybody else. It's like the old Eddie Murphy joke. He said, "Oh, I got these crackers. I thought they were saltines. And they just regular old crackers." So, I mean, it's
Facts.
so it's a little bit of both.
Okay, man, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
China, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, so let me ask two black women that I know. So we'll start with Siobhan that you were kind of my bad. You was kind of in the middle of something saying something. I'm sorry.
Hey, Miss Siobhan. Hey, wifey.
Yeah, I think you muted.
My bad. My mic was muted.
Mhm.
Yeah, my mic was muted because I was laughing and I didn't want it to like interfere with what he was saying. But hey,
All right. So one, do you guys feel like it's at least portrayed as a cultural thing? Like as black women, do you feel that? And then two, what is your theory about like the athletes and all that kind of stuff? So Siobhan, go ahead, and then when you get done, just pass it off to Shani.
Mhm.
Okay, so I do think it's a perception in our culture. Yes, I think if you ask a lot of women who are in the generation above us, the women that raised us, aunties and grandmas and stuff,
Mhm.
they have a thing, a little sting in there if let's say their grandson, whatever, becomes a millionaire and marries someone that's not black, or even when they see the entertainers, the basketball players and so forth marry women who are not black, it feels, from what I've seen, almost like a sense of betrayal. Like, why wouldn't you put a black woman in that position to live this lifestyle with you, et cetera, et cetera? And I can't say it's the same for everybody.
Mhm.
People will love who they love. But I
Mhm.
think the problem is when you deliberately say, well, now that I have this money, I'm not getting with a sister. I think that's a problem. Um, I mean, also, I think it could be, I don't want to say standards are different, but I want to say, like, I don't know how to put it. I'm sorry. Come back to me,
Okay.
because there's something I want to say and I just can't quite fully formulate the words.
Okay. I have several questions for your statement, but I'm gonna let Shani go first because I'm sure I'm gonna have several questions for
Okay.
her.
Okay, so the question
Mhm.
was you was asking Dre, is it the culture? You ask the question again.
Um, do you, as a black woman, like, do you feel that stereotype? Like, do you feel like people think you're entitled or angry? Um,
Um yeah, I'm sorry, that was one of my daughter. I'm like, I'm on the phone. No, but I think the guy that you had on the other night brought out a very valid point in terms of black women in America. I agree totally with him. Yes, we do have a right to be angry because of our ancestors, what they went through in terms of just the stripping of, I believe in our culture for black women, I can't speak for all, but the identity, knowing who you are, knowing your worth plays a big part. And so if you don't have that, having, for example, let me just use myself as an example, being a mom, having a young adult, a daughter that's a college student right now, it's so important as black women to and she brought up, with our grandma, aunts, to know your worth as an African American woman. Know that, for example, like I tell my daughter, you can't be bought, you priceless. You follow what I'm saying? So when you have that standard as a black woman, as a first of all, as a believer, as a woman of God, you don't put a tag on yourself. You devalue yourself when you put a tag to say, "Oh, I gotta have," because my thing as a woman is like, "Hey, I'm the prize." You follow what I'm saying? So I think if we have, it's a mindset, and should black women? I know I'm kind of jumping around. Should black women be angry? Yes, they rightfully so, because of, if we look at the history of black women in America, the from injustice of, from being taken off the field. Well, you had situations where the husband and wife was working for the slave master, and then she would be brought in and raped by the slave master. Just a whole, just a series of things. So do we have that? Yeah, but how we channel and operate it in that is crucial. And again, what the young man was saying, you love who you love. Should it be a situation? For me, it is like a take back, like, wow, we help as black women. We're nurturers by just a woman, period, just nurturers. But I think more so with black women, we have a very strong voice that can sometimes be intimidating to our brothers, to our brothers. And yeah, it can be like a downfall, like, wow, he went this way. In terms of our athletes, when you think of athletes, when they get to a certain statue, they marry outside of the culture. But to bring it back, I know I'm kind of dancing around. To bring it back, I think that it's an individual. It's an individual, and it starts about with the woman. It starts about how she views herself. You follow what I'm saying? So you view yourself in a certain level and the standard. It's just certain men. Like, let me use my daughter again, like the college student, and we were talking about dating and things like that. And so for her, it was like, she said Italian. I said, what? We doing what? we black. We love black people, But I mean, because society has, not just society, but what we've seen within our own community, with our own, it is kind of disappointing when you have that. But because of what we've seen within our own race, with our brothers, and even sometimes with our sisters, the negative side of it all. So again, a person love who they love. You can't I would say I would kind of say both end. It is a cultural thing, but in terms of a woman, an angry black woman, I feel, as being a black woman, yes, she does have a right, but how you channel that anger is very important. But what I would say, as a black, as an African American woman, what we need to work on, as far as when we like, why would he marry our, we quick to have a clap back. You know what I'm saying? We click the man, get. I'm gonna check him. And sometimes as black women, learning how to have power in check. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think for us, being experienced, the whole marriage piece and being married, the take back is learning how to, without, like, lifting him up, opposed to tearing them down. And I think that's where we struggle as black African American women within our own. Just from what I see with my own sisters, just tearing down our brothers. And yeah, so
Okay.
I'm not judging it, but yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate. I won't say if this is how I do or do not feel, but I feel like I need to speak for the men out there.
Oh, okay.
So I've looked up a few quotes from prominent men who were asked this question, and I've also talked to the guys in my life that I feel like are successful. Which I think one is married to a black woman, and the rest aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I got was, well, first let me ask my question about something Siobhan Anderson said.
Yes.
A sense of betrayal. So do you feel like successful black men are obligated to marry black women because of um, what did you say, putting a black woman in that financial space and things like that? Do you feel like
Oh, like, do
I
I
forgot
feel like black
exactly?
men are obligated to marry a black woman to put her in that to share that lifestyle with him?
Yeah, because you said something about like a sense of betrayal.
Yes. I said from what I've seen, the generation above us almost
Right.
seems to feel betrayed just based upon their wording of things. It's kind of like a sense of betrayal. And your question is, do I believe that black men have an obligation to marry someone black, um,
Yes.
especially if they're successful?
Yes.
I don't think that anybody has an obligation to marry anybody else. That's one thing. We don't live in a culture with arranged marriages anymore, at least not predominantly in American culture. Um, I don't think that just because you're rich, you ought to go for a black person. However, um, I feel like our community is the most deficient in a solid family. Oh, I don't know what that is. Our community is the most deficient in a solid family, especially when it comes to families that are successful and wealthy. So while I don't feel that someone is obligated, I feel like it's always a good example to see something to aspire to for not only the kids that they're going to create, because you know that family's going to make kids that's going to replicate. And I think that just for our culture, especially now, it's important to see successful people, successful families that are black. And success doesn't always mean money, but since that's what we're talking about a financially wealthy man. um, it's important for people to see a successful black couple do things do things well in
Okay.
black excellence.
Now y'all about to get mad, but I'm about to say it. I ain't gonna be no chump. You know, I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
Zena and
All
all
right, you
y'all
go
in the
ahead.
comments, I don't care. I'm gonna say it.
Well, say
Now,
it.
all right. So if women realize that, why is it so hard? Like, I feel like you make it so hard to be in that position. And so let me give you the quotes. Let me get my receipts. Let me get some quotes that I saw
Please
them there
do.
when I was talking to other
Please
people.
do.
So question is, why didn't this certain athlete marry within his race or whatever? So these were like the answers. One was they don't trust black women. They don't really give like a lot of explanation. Two, and I don't know who's watching this, so I'll just say women of other race. I don't want to target one specific race, but
Okay.
women of other races are going to be more submissive. And then the third most common one I saw was that other races may already be well off. So they're already accustomed to that lifestyle, and you don't have like somebody's cousin who raps that thinks because now you married the rich dude that all his mixtapes get paid for and stuff like that. I'm not saying whether I agree
Okay.
or disagree with all that, but
Okay.
those were the reasons why. Because
What was the
Shiny,
first reason? I heard the second and third.
because they don't trust black women because
Mm.
because of experiences.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
about them,
That's interesting.
it was they were inferring that it was mainly like just being difficult and like having the attitude and then like having to hey my boy, hey, check your SO, check your inbox, bro. I sent you a link that you could jump on to tap on. Don't look like that. The truth is coming out.
Another one. Where is another one?
Yeah.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So I do think so. I'll say this. Let me say this. I think the issue is more like with strong women, and I think strong women obviously can come in any color.
Mhm.
But I think most black women in their defense have to be strong. I do think sometimes they don't have the ability to turn that strength off. Oftentimes, and this is just my experience with the relationships that I've been in. It's kind of like I don't want to fight. Like everything don't have to be an argument. Like I don't need you to be strong right now. Like I just need you to be my wife. Like because our original conversation was about when that's gonna say Shani. I don't know if you saw it, but our original conversation was about why women get married. Once they say I do, they say I don't in the bedroom anymore. That was our original conversation. And so it kind of spiraled into like women like, cause I'm tired and I do this and I do that. And guys are like, yeah, whatever. And so what I think sometimes it comes down to like, I just don't think women just ever want to be like, my bad. I was wrong. I should probably do better at that. It's always like, well, if you was a real man, then you would like the other day we were talking about how women say they want an alpha male, but they really don't. I don't think strong women want an alpha male.
Well, let me say this in terms of this is just my take. And again, just transparency in terms of just my experience. Being you said saying I do, but in the bedroom saying I don't. That's strong. That comes with as a husband and a wife, being selfless, like considering the other better than yourself. I believe as far as again with my own experience in that, knowing that how God made man and how he made us, we are more, emotional. Men is like, I don't just let's get it, let's do it, don't take nothing, So in that, I just say that to say I think that's very important. That piece, that's a part of it, but that's not all of it. I would say that no, that's not that's not the piece that's going to keep a marriage. However, you do want to the husband and wife do want to be a solid on that because it sets up temptation. Yeah, and the withholding. And in this, and I'm just speaking from a wife, being a wife perspective. At one point,
Okay.
and just I'm just using myself. You a lot of times, not all. I can't speak for all, but we use it as a no. You how you was this morning or whatever. You didn't do this. I asked you to do. Just using it as a weapon. That's
somebody who admits it. Thank you.
I'm just keeping it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. That's off. I'm not. We're not dealing that again. I'm not speaking from a culture. I'm speaking from as a believer, as one. That's off. That's off. That's nothing. It's not Bible at all. It's wrong. It's sin is wrong, and it's an easy way. I'm talking to my ladies now. I feel like I'm an old head on here, but talking to my ladies right now. That's an easy way, ladies, to open up area that you don't demand. I'm trying to tell you, real talk. And I had to learn the hard way. Using it, man. You were supposed to do this with me. We supposed to go. We ain't go. No, man. That's dangerous. That's a setup. It's a setup for failure. I can't stress that enough. Does that mean I'm supposed to drop it like it's hot? When he fit? No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's a balance to that, but at the same time, if it's no praying fasting going on, and it could be vice versa. She mean like, man, I need you. He may get down like you know how, and I can't stress that enough. And I see it. I've seen it, experienced so many times, in marriages, and I think that's one area where, again, I can't speak for. I'm just only speaking for myself and my experience, and the backlash of it. It's a setup from the enemy. Real talk. So if it's not a situation where, you know, it ain't, like nobody's just like out wrong one another. I mean, and you ain't praying and you ain't fasting, and y'all to come and agree on it, then I mean, do it. God said that's what He made it for. Do it.
That's right.
I mean, it's tight. I ain't wrote it, and again, I can't stress it enough because I'm speaking from my own experience. A lot of time you hear your girl, I wish he ain't finna know. Them the main ones. Let me say this. The main one that's in your ear telling you what they want to do, them the main ones that's waiting for the opportunity.
Exactly.
Waiting for the opportunity. They not gonna never tell you. They gonna tell you what's wrong, what you should have done, what you would do. Girl, I ain't finna never. No, and I'm talking about from those that call themselves Christians, Christ-like ones. So women, a lot of times we have to be very careful in that. And then guys also being considerate of your wife, knowing, what turn on, what turn off, knowing that you set the tone, you set the thermostat. We just respond.
Hold
I'm
on.
just both ways. We just respond. If it's cold in the house, you gotta turn it up. But that's on that part. I said I do it. Yeah, that's serious.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that. All right. The man of the hour. What's up, my boy?
What's good, bro?
All right, let me lead you in so you don't just jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to get right to the point. Let me ask you two questions.
All right,
cool.
cool.
So the two questions we're talking about today. One, do you feel like culturally Black women are entitled, I guess? Well, that was a word that was used. And then the second half, which I know we talked about a little bit earlier, which I think stems from that question, is why do you think so many athletes, so many Black successful people, I won't just put on athletes, marry outside of their race?
All right. Black women entitled. Give me a.
So the example that this person used was a Black woman may have like four kids, but like 3 baby daddies, and then like, but they want to marry like a doctor who has no kids, or LeBron James to like look their way, and they always feel like they right. They'll never feel like they had to do nothing. Well, let me put it. That was what they said, but let me put it in marriage context. Like they feel like they can talk to you any kind of way, treat you any kind of way, and you still supposed to be like, "Hello, baby."
Yeah, I don't think they entitled. I just think they misinformed. Like a lot of Black women model their mothers. I tell my son, like, if you want to see what that girl gonna be like when she get older, go check out her mama.
Mm-hmm.
So that talking back comes from them seeing their mama talk back towards men, and they don't know how to switch it on and off when it comes to marriage. It's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do when I get married, because they're not informed. Coming to America, remember that part where he was.
Whatever you like.
Yeah, he was into. But she was taught how to love her husband. You know what I'm saying? She was taught, like a lot of women are not taught how to be wives. They're taught that you don't need a man. So when they get a man, they don't know how to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Preaching good, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Siobhan?
interesting.
Yeah. What you got to say about that, huh? I brought the big guns today.
But
Big guns.
Zayna in the comments said, but is that only a Black thing?
no, it's not. It's not only. I mean, well, I'm only in a Black household, so but I do know this. I do know that as from my experience with different cultures, that it's, if you did a survey, it would probably be the black woman who is the least that know how to push their man into greatness, because it always becomes a hindrance. Okay, are you at the studio too long, or you're giving too much time? A woman will, African American woman will always put herself in place of anything that she feels is taking time away from her, and then it becomes bitterness, and now you're not fully supporting that man to what he's supposed to be doing.
Okay.
But let me jump in. Let me just say this.
No.
I disagree. In the sense of the word, again, speaking with
That's a
experience,
black
what
thing.
what I do see is that, first of all, as you all say, we are strong with strong women, and also
Strong minded is different from being strong.
let me say this, we do push our men to say, man, babe, what's up with that? Challenge them to step up to the plate and say, no, you can't do it. But my thing is, when we do and they
I agree,
around, I
Pam.
feel as though they forget.
No,
They forget.
it's not a matter of forget, but
Ooh.
because again, remember,
Ooh.
Ain't no ooh. Go ahead.
because you women will start comparing themselves to a man's dream. Oh, you spent 14 hours at the studio, but you can't spend 2 hours with me. Like, it's not a competition. This is what that I'm destined to be, and your job is to help me get there, not compete against it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also want to put it, I think that there's different. I don't
But there
think
has
people.
to be some balance with that, though. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
there
you're
has
not.
to be some balance with that specifically, because
It can't be about. It
there
can't be.
has to be some balance with it
It,
specifically, because you are a husband and you are married to a wife. You're not
Mm-hmm.
married to your music. You're not going to your music looking for fulfillment, looking for satisfaction
No point for
in
SO.
areas, especially physically. So,
but my destiny was
just
there.
as much time as you invest in your music, you need to
Mm-hmm.
put some effort in investing into your wife. And so,
Mm-hmm.
while I understand, especially with a lot of people's aspirations, especially when you're building, it's gonna take time away from the family. It's gonna take, like, you being like laser focused on it, and a part of that is you're not with the family as much. Okay, I can accept that. However, one, I think that there needs to be a little bit of balance where it's like, okay, I'm gonna take a couple days off of music and I'm gonna put that back into you. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
take a couple days off of music and I'm gonna put that back into the kids, because you are a husband first. Your wife is your first ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Okay,
are my thoughts.
facts. But Rapture, did you know that you can rap before you met Siobhan, or you met Siobhan and figured out you can rap?
No, I knew I met her rapping at a concert.
Okay,
Let-
so the destiny was already there before she came.
Yes.
Okay, so my point is this: it's not about uh uh balancing time. It's about appreciating the time that I do give. Like
let-
like you can't compare my 14 hours. If I give 14
No,
hours in
sir, I
studio,
disagree.
and
I
I give
I
agree.
and
disagree.
I give and I
Can he
give
finish?
and I give
No,
you
sir, I
4 solid
disagree.
hours at home, appreciate those 4 solid hours, because know that I'm trying. But don't
No, sir,
compare.
I disagree.
Hold on, SO, it's a comment that I want you to address.
Go ahead.
So Zena says, if you work towards a dream that's benefiting your household, then that's awesome. But if you've been trying to be a rapper for 10 years and she has held down the bills all this time, at what point should we be like, babe, let's approach this different?
Well, no woman should
That's
be,
good.
no woman should be holding down the bills. Yeah, like my dream should never take out of my household. Like I should never be skimming off my light bill to
Okay,
pay for studio time. So no woman should be holding down the
right.
house while I'm I should be man enough that I can cover my bills and still do what I'm supposed to do. And then that gives me the right to say, babe, okay, I'm trying. But I can't, if you paying the bills, then you the man that
I can agree with that. So I want to address something that Shani said. Like, I don't think it's necessary that, and I hear this all the time with people like, you forgot who held you down. It's like, I didn't forget that you held me down when I was the rapper doing one mixtape a year and had 30 fans. It's just now it's different.
facts.
Like I think for the successful people, it's like I'm not that same guy that only had 30 people. Like I had to be gone 40 or 50 hours out the week, like an NBA player's wife. Like
Yep.
they gone 6 months out the year.
And even when they home, they still working because your job is. I mean, your job is always on the line. There's always somebody trying to come up. That 2 days that you want me to sit back and not do anything, that gives somebody a 2-day head start to catch up and take my spot.
But I think what comes into play is prioritizing, priority, and what really matters to the individual. There could be both. That could be either the husband or the wife. Again, let me just with myself and you mentioned with the rapper. The Freestyle Friday for many years,
Yeah,
and I've seen just like you and Miss Anderson couples. I really want to emphasize for one couple, and you guys probably know him, when it turns the building. So he was rapping, and he met her, the same, met her in that hip hop holy hip hop industry, and she would come to the Freestyle Friday, but they were supporting each other. Now, I mean, he's a really great artist. She's doing, but it's a team. I say that to say, seeing it's a team effort. So anytime one is pulling from another, and Miss Anderson brought out an excellent point. The priority first is God first, your spouse, and then everything after. When the priority get rearranged, then we have problems. It shouldn't be a situation where either the husband
we
or
have
the
a
wife is
problem.
sacrificing the marriage for the sake of I'm trying to make it or fulfill my dream. No, that's not the order. So I believe priority is huge, and when you prioritize, it works.
Okay. If
Can I
you
ask
pay
a question to
attention,
Esso?
yeah, go ahead. I tried Zena.
So
That's what
Esso,
go ahead.
Esso, going back to your comments. Okay. Going back to your comments. Oh, he's not here.
Oh, what are you gonna say? I'll answer for my boy. All right, he back.
My bad, my phone acting up.
That's fine. Sorry. I was talking to Josh. So going back to your comment about a woman should be grateful for the few hours that you do give her. And all of the context around there, do you feel that, to bring it back home, do you feel that Black women are less grateful and want and feel entitled to be number one over everything in your life? Like you as an artist, do you feel like Black women are less accepting of having a husband who is away from the family more?
I don't want to seem like I'm bashing black women, but like the comment just said, if you've been rapping for 10 years, like women will put expiration date on stuff. Like if I've been rapping 10 years, then I'm consistent with it. Okay. But it's like, okay, if it ain't worked in a month or two, you need to give it up. It's that whole competition of whatever I'm striving for that most black women make instead of being supportive.
Go ahead. You cranky your neck. Go ahead.
No, say that again, please.
She made a comment and said that if you've been this rapper for 10 years, and that goes to what women put an expiration date on something. If it ain't worked to what you feel it's working in 10 years, okay, well, you need to give it up or you need to try something else. It's always that. It's like you can't put a timeline on something that I feel like I'm supposed to be doing because you feel like it's taken away from you.
Okay.
Okay.
So is that a Black issue?
I don't know. I mean, she said what, but if the light should never be A man's job is to make a woman feel secure. So it should never be a situation where you're getting a past due notice in a house because you're trying to rap. But if I'm doing my job and we're secure in the house, then I don't. It should. If I've been rapping for 15 years, what does it matter?
Okay, so let me ask a question. Let's not talk. So we obviously know that's a person on the come up.
Yeah.
But I think so. What happens, Siobhan, when you're successful? So is it okay if they're successful? Is it like y'all
Is
don't
it
want that? Y'all don't want that from the come up person, but like if he's successful, he can be gone from the house.
Exactly. One.
So let me put it to you like this. Let me put it to you like this, and let me speak from personal experience because my husband was in music for a long time. He was in music when I met him and a
Retired.
long time after we got married. You said what?
Retired. Go ahead.
But you were
Go ahead.
you were
Go ahead.
in music, doing shows in the
Yeah.
studio for hours. You know what I'm saying? Like that was your lifestyle. So one, I kind of knew that going in. As far as somebody who is rich or whatever or successful, whatever, my expectation would be, I understand that your job and profession that provides for us or whatever takes you away. That's something that I have to understand. Okay, I get it. You have to be on the road, you have to do whatever. And that's great. But my expectation is that on your days off, they be off. On your days off, I need my husband back. On your days off, I don't want you just at home on your phone checking emails, on calls. Like it's like you haven't left work. And so on your days off, I need you to be my husband and kind of show up for me in the ways that I show up for you when you're gone. Because
What does that be?
if you
So
home but it seemed like you gone, then it's kind of pointless.
okay. So you got further in your career than I have. So what, if you can answer that,
Stop it.
I mean, you are the most famous person I know. So
Stop it.
thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to
Man,
entertain me.
stop. But here's the thing. You're a funny guy. That again, it goes back to the security part. It's like when they realize it's not a dream and then it's actually lucrative, the whole attitude changes. Like, oh, okay, I can match the time being spent with what's in the bank account. Because before the success comes, they look at it like it's a hobby. And that's why it's kind of so hard for them to be 100% behind it. Because that's your little hobby. When the money comes, then it'd be like, okay, this is something serious then. Then they tone it down a little bit.
No, I get it. So, Siobhan, you said something earlier. Zena, if you want to hop in, you can. So you got to do all that typing. But you can keep typing if you want to. I'm just saying. So would you agree that? So I think the biggest thing I see is like, and I think this covers a wide area of marriage, is like a lot of us get married for the stupid reasons or the wrong reasons.
Facts.
Or we don't take certain things into it, and then we get into a marriage because we have these expectations that things are going to be different. So if you know that you're going to marry, let's just say LeBron, and I think his wife met him in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, given in high school, he was already like LeBron.
The GOAT.
Like I think part of the life, like you got to realize, like it's gonna be a lot of lonely nights. There's gonna be a lot of you raising your kids by yourself. You know, those different type of things. And I think that sometimes when we get married, those aren't things that we take into account. Like your husband may be he may be a terrible rapper, but it's the one thing that he cares about. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta realize like that's gonna be part of your life. It's gonna be like him on the road in the studio, and I think vice versa. If I know my wife, I don't know what is stuff that want to be a doctor, then I had to know going in like there's going to be 7 years of school, so I got to calculate what that's going to mean for my life. And a lot of times we ignore that part and just be like, "Ooh, I love you, Jerome. I love you too, Felicia," and that's all we care about. And then we get in that situation, and now we arguing and fighting every day. And I would imagine, like, as someone who's successful, especially if everyone else in my life is telling me how great I am, I don't want to have to come home, and every time I come home, the person that I'm spending the rest of my life with is telling me how I'm never home,
Right.
how making money is not enough. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, it's not about the money, it's about the time. But it's like, but when I wasn't making money and I was just giving my time, it was a hobby or a hustle or I was a bum. And now that I just feel like it's really no winning in that situation. And again, I don't know if it's necessarily just a black thing or just a cultural thing, but I do know that at least from the studies they have, we date outside our race higher than any other race on earth. Men do, yes, black men. It's like, and none of them are like extremely high. I think black men were like 26%. I think Asian was like 21, white was like 7%, and then like Hispanic was somewhere between, I think it was like somewhere between 5 and 6%. And so just like if it was reversed, I'll be having the conversation with men like, what are we doing wrong that all these women are leaving and like marrying outside the race? And so I guess my thing is like we can kind of just like the sex thing, like women, I just feel like women can make up all these reasons and different like justifications or whatever of why they shouldn't be having sex or why they aren't. But at the end of the day, like 70% of married men watch porn consistently. Like over 50%, and I just looked up black males. Over 50%, it's not as high as people think, but it's over 50% of married black men cheat. And the two reasons are money issues and then just not getting no sex from my wife. So like, and at first I was like, okay, maybe it's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a regular guy. I'm not necessarily nobody special. But then like I was watching this thing with Siobhan. I forgot the dude's name, but he's an actor on BET, and him and his wife have a podcast. He rich. Most women like him, find him attractive, and like they have a podcast about how she doesn't have sex with him consistently enough in the bedroom. And he's like, well, why do y'all force us? Why do y'all want monogamy so bad, but then don't want to give us the one thing that we want?
Right.
And so my thing is like we can argue about how things should be and people's reasons for whatever. But I think like when you look at numbers and you look at facts, it's our race that's suffering. It's our kids. You know, it's our daughters that know her mama got 7 different uncles. And they all come at different times of the month and they all spend the night and hang out. You know, and we talk about like this family cycle, and I get that part, but I also think like it's got to be a point where we got, okay, there's a problem in this area. That's not saying that there's something wrong with black women or that black women are inferior or what's the word I want to what's the word we used to say?
Entitled.
Is to say maybe that there's an issue, like maybe black women are angry, and that's something that we need to talk about and try to fix. And instead of just saying, well, if y'all was real men, y'all would da 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 da. Like I don't necessarily think that has anything to do with it. I think at some point, some people just got to be accountable and be like, if this is what they need, then maybe I should give them what they need instead of trying to be like, well, you just need to accept the fact that we only gonna have sex once a week and then get mad when dude go find somebody to fulfill the other whatever day, how many days you're looking for.
What's
Okay. I have a question.
Of course you do. What?
What does that mean?
No, go ahead.
Where is Rick?
I can't speak. I called the man. He didn't answer the phone. But I don't know.
at the gay bar?
Okay.
Don't play my boy like that. Look, he just don't be out. He ain't no gay bar. Rick Mary, he like girl. But he's just
No. Okay. Okay.
yeah. So I don't want to delusional. That's funny. But yeah, so I guess you know to end it like that's kind of my prayers that we can like you know just figure these things out. Because one thing Siobhan helped me with was like some people I knew were getting divorced, and she was like, well, you know, divorce always has the person cheated. And she's like, well, you know, divorce always is always two sides of a story. It's not always like one person's fault. And so I think for a lot of things that we have to like start accepting self-responsibility and not being like, well, maybe it's the other person, or why can't they just, or you know, if only they would, you know, I think we win in marriage when it's always like, how can I be better? I think Shawnee said earlier, like, how can I be better? How can I please, like if you married a dude who's out here thotting, like you should know he's not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna stop wanting to have sex because we're married now. Like, and the same thing with guys, because like I was the if being honest, I was the rapper Siobhan was talking about like at the beginning of our marriage. Like I wasn't trying to work a full-time job consistently because I had to be in the studio all the time. And honestly, if she had cheated on me, I'd probably been mad, but I could understand. No, I'm serious because it was something that she needed that I wasn't doing. Especially if it's like year after year and we struggling financially and struggling. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd have found a dude beat him up, but I'm just saying, like, I couldn't have been like, I can't believe you did that. How dare you?
This is what it's like. It's like why we put in marriage, we put like cheating is the ultimate wrong that a man can do. If you're my wife and you're depriving me of what I need, you're cheating also. You're cheating me of what I need. Like it's like, oh, if he step out, and me and you had this conversation.
Yeah.
If the man step out, he's so wrong. But what about the other 32 years of marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like, do my good outweigh my bad? Like, why?
Good question.
Yeah, why do we hope? Like, it's like, oh,
Let me
go ahead.
let me
Let him explain themselves.
but I just wanted to jump in real quick on that. I don't think again just experience like not with culture, but just my own personal experience even in that in marriages. I believe because we you saying the gachi, but from a woman perspective, it's not always the sex. So it could go vice versa. His needs may not be not being met physically, yet her needs may not be being met emotionally. And it's a book of his needs, her needs, whatever. But to make a long story short, I don't think the divorce is I'm gonna leave because the individual he or she cheated. Is I believe it's a pattern of it, and the cheating starts before the bedroom. So
Absolutely.
it starts way
Right.
before the bedroom. That's just
It start with y'all. It start with y'all.
no. It's but if we take again, if you think about it, take the
No,
responsibility
sir.
off a blame.
Yes.
Just look at
No, sir.
yourself as an individual, not looking at it's her, it's him, but what can I do? And that's where the selflessness comes in to say, you know what? Let me not think of my needs, but think of the other person. That's biblical. Now we're not dealing with culture. That's biblical. So when you put it in that context,
That's real shiny.
put it in that context, because when it comes down to it, that's the standard.
Okay, but y'all okay.
But let me just finish what I'm saying. Is if you can get to the individual, let's just get to the end. Not y'all. Let's get to man. What can I do? What can I do? Relational, because guess what? Even before you get in a marriage, the marriage, and I must, this is on both ends. So whether you marry black, white, hoodoo, whatever, it's an individual first. So you're not looking, a marriage goal should be oneness, not to be happy. Now we gonna make dreams or whatever. It's a oneness. It's about how can we become one, not she making me happy, he making me happy, or 50-50. Each individual, and this is learned. I learned this. Each individual should come in 100%. I'm 100 with him, and I'm 100 without him. You follow what I'm saying? It's not I need this person. We complete. You're complete when you come in. And I think that's a problem that a lot of us have, is that, oh man,
I agree.
he complete me. No, when that, and then that's when before
No,
you
he
came
shouldn't
in,
be
that's why I was
completing you.
sharing. Let me say this. That's why I was sharing before you came in. It's the individual. It starts with the individual mindset, the standards and the values that you have. What's your identity? What's your standard for? What do I look for when I want to? What do I look for in a wife? What do I want to look for in a husband? But before I look, what am I? Am I that wife? Am I that husband? I'm asking, but am I that husband? Am I that man? So before we get the blame shift, y'all, no, let's look at us as
it's not a
individuals. It
it's not
starts
Zena, I got a problem with that comment. I'm gonna get to you.
it's not a blank. And can I ask you because I don't know you how long have you been married?
I was, let me say this, I was married for 18 years. 18.
And let
Let me, because I don't have no shame in it. And we the best of friends now. And he know we the best. But let me say this though. Let me say this, speaking from experience. And so the divorce, it wasn't a situation where, oh, he cheat. It's a choice. People make choice. It's a pattern. So when it's a situation, when it's a continual pattern, and again, the cheating that's before the bedroom is just, that's the end all. So it starts way before that. But what I say to you, I was married for 18 years. Do I regret it? Not at all. We the best of friends now. He'd say, but I say that to say you have to, as individuals, you have to look at yourself, at yourself first. And it's always two sides to a pancake. It's his side, the individual side, and the truth.
Hold on, Esso, can I ask one? Because I think this is gonna feed into what you're gonna say. Can I ask a question, Shani?
Go ahead.
Do y'all think happy people cheat?
Happiness is a state of mind. I would say.
people.
I think
People who are happily married.
Right. Happy is
it's
funny.
a selfish.
Okay, whatever. Do you think happily married people who are getting their needs fulfilled, do you think that they cheat?
Man,
I think it's possible. I think it's less likely, but I think it's possible.
Let me tell you something.
It's a self, to me.
Are you talking about sexual? Because check this out. We have 5 different bank accounts, and every day I check each bank account, and it's always something missing, and it's always a new package at the door that get hidden in the closet. And then when I say where that come from, oh, I've been had that. That's cheating. That is cheating.
That's you got to call it what it is. That's lying. That's lying.
That's lying.
That's lying.
That's not cheating. That's lying.
You got to call it what it is. That's lying. That's
this is why I say it's
no, bro. You can't. No.
You gotta hold on.
No, because that's why I said it's like yeah, women will put definitions on things to lower the point total. Like, okay, we can't put lying at the same aspect as cheating. I say it's cheating because it's my money, and at the end of the day, if you're hiding it from me and you're being manipulated about it, it's the same to me. It's cheating. To me, it's cheating. Not to you, but to me, it's cheating. But at the same time, am I grateful enough that we're in a good position where your spending habits don't affect the household, or I can go 2 weeks and not notice that you spent the money? Cool, but it's still cheating. There's no difference.
Okay.
You preach good today, brother. You preaching good. They ain't got nothing to say. Zena said she thought it was our money in marriage.
What?
There's no
Hold
my money.
up.
There's no my money. There's
Hold
only our money.
up.
Huh? How many layup
Yes,
lines was you in?
our.
How many 3-point shots you? And this goes into the next question of why black men.
But see, that's not fair. That's not fair. You
this-
Can he
no,
finish? Can the
sir.
man finish?
That's
Can
not
the man
fair.
finish?
This
Can the
That's
man
not
finish?
fair
this-
because you can't say,
This
"Oh,
is why-
you don't give it to me enough," and technically, according to the Bible, your body is mine. Blah blah blah. But as soon as she say it's our money, you like what? No.
Okay.
Is there,
Like,
is
excuse
there a scripture that says it's our money?
Right. it's as when you talking about money and sex, that's why I always say women marry for security, men marry for sex. It's the same thing. That's why I say you can't say it's not cheating on my end. Women marry for security, men marry for sex.
But that's not. I disagree. You can't lump all in one category. All women.
I can't lump my money and not. So this is what I'm saying. Y'all have.
No, I'm saying you can't say all. That's what all women marry for, and that's what men. I disagree with. You can't put everybody in that category as far as culturally.
I'm not gonna speak for women. I'm gonna speak for
Damn,
men.
you better.
We marry for sex.
Okay.
And men marry for when your husband seeing you, he didn't say, "Oh, she has a great intellect on her." It was something about you that attracted him and aroused him, and he was sexually attracted to you. We are sexually attracted to you first before we even get to know you. That's why women will sit and they'll plan a whole wedding out 3 weeks after meeting the man, and we're thinking about, okay, is she gonna let me hit yet? We marry for sex. Men are sexual.
Amen. No, keep preaching, brother. Let me stop.
I'd be really interested to hear Jamila's point of view. I'm really, really interested to hear Jamila's point of view.
I know her point of view.
No, I want to hear it from her. I don't need to hear from you.
You good enough. Go ahead, brother.
You want to know her point of view? That this mortgage is paid and her mama rent being paid by me. Okay, that's her point of view. So, all right.
So, I'm not gonna continue.
Go ahead,
okay?
Shema. I'm used to you. Go ahead, Shema.
You're not used to me.
Yeah, I am.
But I don't think it pertains to our conversation. So I'm just not gonna continue.
So I think marriage is transactional, and we don't like to admit that because we downplay like Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B or different women who I feel like understand that in a sense marriage is transactional. Like, and I agree with Ezra. You can never say all. Most women want security, and
all women want
most men can testify. The better you do at that, the easier your marriage is, or the happier the woman is. And women tend to do everything else except have more sex. Personal example, we use in our marriages. When I was horrible at providing security, to Siobhan's credit, she was always like, God said you the head, so that's what it is. But she said it with attitude. When things got better, like we always have a joke in the house. I'd be like, man, you look lighter. You look happier. Like when you know what I'm saying? Like she wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Now they like, nigga, what you want to eat? Is you hungry? Oh yeah, it's some spaghetti left. It's like, hey, baby, what would you like to eat? And I understand that because I'm doing a better job on my end of like giving you what you need. So I guess my point is, since things are transactional, maybe what your husbands are looking for.
Hold on. Zena just said it's our money, but 5 minutes ago she just said, but what about the wife who paying all the bills, holding you down while you doing chasing your dream? See the difference? when it's them coming out of their pocket, she refers to it as her money because she was the one holding it down. But when it's the man's, it's
Bro.
our. It's always a double standard.
No. What she said was, if
We
you've
can
been a
read what you
rapper
said.
10,
Hold on.
if you've been a rapper for 10 years
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing has happened and y'all are struggling.
No. She said, and she been the one holding it down, paying the bills.
They go to comment right there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but it's still, if you not holding it down, it's our money. It's just coming out of your pocket, but it's still our money. So why is it a different when the woman is paying the bills?
All right, Z, hold on.
She said, please send me a request.
Why is it different when the
Right.
woman?
So when Jamila order packages, it's y'all money.
I don't care because I listen. I'm gonna ask you one time what's going on tonight. All right. See, God gave you 7 days off in the marriage. You got 7 days to tell me no. That's when you know what I'm saying, when you got your cycle. The other 23 is for me. So I'm gonna hint one time, and if you get to acting like you got a headache or you ain't into it, fine, that's cool. That's your choice.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
I'm really curious. I'm gonna wait till. Actually, I'm gonna have Zena answer once you get on here. So, do you guys feel like? I just want y'all to answer the question. Don't send us in a million different directions. Do you feel like if a man has been telling his wife for years that they're not having no sex?
Years.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, not that they don't have sex for 2 years, but I'm saying, like, the first year y'all get married, usually first year y'all getting it popping. Second year is like once a week, and then occasionally he bring it up like, hey, babe, you know, or she be like, what's wrong? And he like, I'm walking around with blue balls all day. What you mean, what's wrong? Then the third year, it's the same thing. And then the fourth year, it's the same thing. Well, because I almost feel like if women couldn't have sex, they would be okay. Like if we never had sex, y'all would be absolutely fine, except for like the 3 times a year when y'all may be in the mood. So if that's the case, do you feel like a man is wrong? Because what we do is we'll say, like, now if a man go out and cheat, we'll bring up that sin and talk about what God says about that. But we won't bring up the sin of like all these years that he basically been like begging and asking for it. Like,
but that go back to what I said in the what I had explained in the beginning. That's you know, the withholding. You're not supposed to either one, male or female, not to withhold himself unless you all agree to it. So is it wrong for if, and I can't speak for the why, I can only speak. I was guilty of, like, using it as a weapon, and it backfired. That don't work. It's sin is wrong, and no, I mean, it's wrong. Bottom line. But at the same time, let me say this. But at the same time, I believe, and I can speak for us. It's not. It's a situation where it starts. It starts before, like when I said the cheating starts before the bedroom. The between the husband and wife, that starts when you get up. So it's like you making deposits. So if you ain't got nothing in the bank and you trying to make a withdrawal, the account negative. How you withdrawing from a negative count? If if a situation, that's how I'm just saying how women operate.
Right. But I feel like women always say that. But so what would you call it if a man did that? If he's like, all right, I would pay this light bill this month, but that sex tank looking real low. You know what I'm saying? You in the negative. You gonna have to bust it open for your boy a couple times to get that balance up. I feel like that would be vilified as opposed to. I just feel like women can do what they want and then just get away with it.
Nah, that's not true.
What up? Siobhan, what do you feel?
Oh my gosh. So many things. Could you repeat the question? I was answering a text from Josh, so could you repeat the question?
Do you feel like a man is wrong if he steps out of his marriage, if he's been asking for something for, let's say a couple years? Because it's usually not the first time. Like, you don't deny a man once and then you try and cheat. That ain't how it works.
Right. So I think that if your spouse comes to you and says, "Hey, babe, I need this," and they're saying it over and over again, and essentially your actions are ignoring them, it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Is cheating wrong? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't condone that. But I think that we're all human, and you leave the door open for your spouse to be tempted, like whether it's a man or a wife. If you're, hey sister, if your spouse says, we're talking about sex specifically, I need this more, like I need it more.
Yes or no?
You have a responsibility to say, my spouse is telling me they need something, and so I need to do what I can to fulfill it. That is my personal view. Because I would imagine, like, if I came to Dre and said, "Hey, babe, I'm hungry," and he said, "What?"
Yes, is the man. So if you tell
Did I not
somebody,
answer the question?
no, you didn't. You danced around it. All right, let me ask you a simpler question. Another question that's not. If a girl tells you, if you touch me, I'm gonna punch you in the face, and then you touch the girl and she punches you in the face, is the girl who punched you in the face wrong?
No.
Okay, so if a man,
I said that. I said, do I think cheating is right? No. But I said that person that was saying, "Hey, babe, I need this," and his partner was ignoring it, you leave the door open for them to go get something from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So both parties are in the wrong. I'm not going to condone and say, "Go ahead, husband or wife, you should go out there and cheat." You should absolutely go get you some from somewhere else. Bringing somebody else into your marriage will never solve the problem. That's not going to solve the problem at all. It's going to create a bigger one. But what I am saying is that as humans, if there's something that we feel like we need, we're going to find a way to get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where Pam at? She jumping the smoke too. Pam, you get on here too. I'm going to let you go ahead, Zena.
Don't talk about Pam.
Oh, Lord, here we go. So,
my personal opinion, I know when I've said this before, the comment has come up that it's not that easy. I feel like if somebody is not meeting your needs in a marriage, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, if that need is not being met and you have had a conversation with your spouse and they make no effort, no attempt to make any changes, anything like that, then you need to start to reevaluate that relationship and maybe make a decision on whether that's meant for you or not before you go out and cheat. Because the thing is, when you cheat, you not only cheat on that person, you cheating on God, because you made a vow to God as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
now y'all want to bring God in.
No, I'm being honest. So if you've been telling that woman for 3 years, if you've been telling that woman for 10 years, it's the same thing as a woman. I'm supposed to give myself to my husband. If you're not in a position to be able to do that for whatever reason, some women make a decision. Hey, you know what? I'm not able to do it. If my husband decides to do something different, then that's what it is. Not all women are just like, and I don't think we make a conscious effort. As soon as I get this ring on my finger, I'm gonna stop having sex. I don't think that is what happens. And I think that's what, as men, that's the way that you guys interpret it, is that it's just like, cut it off. As soon as you say I do, as soon as we get back after the honeymoon, that's it. I don't think that that's it. I don't, like Siobhan said, I don't condone cheating on your mate, whether it's man or woman. Leave them. Leave.
But when you marry, you can't. You
can't. Yes, you can. You and all your bank accounts, and so you can leave. You can stop paying. You can do whatever you want to do.
I got 10 kids. If I leave, you know what I'm gonna look like. You know what them bank accounts gonna look like. Okay.
Well, but you put them 10 kids there.
Yeah,
So
and they well taken care of.
and that's great. But I'm saying if your wife is not meeting a need of yours, okay, then that means that you need to have a conversation. If you have a conversation, she makes some changes, you guys communicate on what you both can do differently. Fine. If she says, babe, when you just come straight in from work and I smell all the grease on you, babe, I'm not really feeling it. Maybe if you took a shower before you came in this bedroom, it might make me feel a little different. Where that special this, that, and the third.
Now,
Those kinds of conversations that you have so that you don't get to the point where one or the other has to step out.
You know what cologne smells real good when you come home? It's called bills paid.
But you know what? You know what? Don't smell good, dirty balls. So I'm being 100%. I mean, if you want to put it out there, money do smell good.
That should be all the fragrance that you need to turn you on.
And you know what? When my husband comes in on payday, it do. It make me feel a certain kind of way. Yes, it do. I feel good. But at the same time, if he just got off working a 12, 14-hour shift, I'm not feeling like let's go hop in the bed, let's do this. I'm not feeling like that.
Okay,
let's take a shower together. Let's seduce one another.
And
let's be intimate.
That's what I'm talking about. When you say let's take a shower together, or when I walk in, and, hey, I don't know how rated R we can be on here, but if you got a towel ready and you say, babe, meet me in the back room real quick, that's what I'm talking about, because I shouldn't have to work a 14-hour shift and come home and have to turn you on to get my needs.
And that's what I'm saying. Men and women. It's not just the women need to do this, that, and the third. The men have to play a role in it as well.
I'm playing a role at that 14-hour shift I'm doing.
But you can't. Okay, so if you didn't work a 14-hour shift, you don't feel like you should try to seduce your wife or nothing.
I don't work 14 hours.
Okay, and that's okay. So at any point, whatever it is that you do, you don't feel like you as a man should have to do anything, whether it's walk past your wife in the kitchen and touch her on the butt, grab her around the waist. You don't feel like you should have to do that.
All that. I'm down with all that.
Okay, and so that's what I'm saying. Those small things.
But when I get in the bedroom, but it's the thing. Sometimes it's sometimes with women, y'all be like, here you go, and it's no excitement behind it. It's like I said, I don't want to watch porn when I got a wife.
Okay.
So it shouldn't, as my wife, it shouldn't be any limitation. I'm not gonna force my wife to do anything, but I don't want my wife to tell me no about anything. If I want to go buy this trampoline and hang from the ceiling and we go swing, I want my wife to be like, okay, I'm gonna help you put it together. I don't want to hear no.
You get quiet when cats be going around here. Pam.
No.
Okay, well, you know, my opinion on this is completely different from most women. And I'll say this, I am not married at the moment. But when I was married,
please share your opinion.
My opinion is sex was never an issue in our marriage. Whenever it was wanted, it was given. And not like with an attitude either. So I have a totally different appetite than most women. I have a totally different makeup from most women. I don't need all of the extra. I don't. So it was never an issue for me to be like, all right, you want it, let's get it popping. Like that was never my issue in our marriage. So I don't have the most, I got an unbiased opinion, I guess, because it wasn't an issue for me at all. But again, my makeup is different from most women. My appetite is different from most women. So the dog is in front of me.
We need to package that appetite and put it on Amazon.
But I think the thing is, every single time it's not going to be a bed of roses laid out and all this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like any woman already knows that's just not in realistic. That's not the way it's going to be.
Yeah, let's pull into the back of Harold Chicken Shack and get it popping. You know what I'm saying?
Really, right?
Tag me in, coach.
I know. You know what I'm saying? I thought everybody liked lemon pepper. Maybe that's just me. Go ahead.
You know,
do you see I dropped my entire phone? Do you see that?
I think it's a matter of a woman being, you know what I'm saying, open to, you know what I'm saying, those taking the initiative. And I can say, and speaking from my own personal experience, that I do have to try to be more mindful of taking that initiative. because sometimes we just take it so for granted that the man is just going to come in and do this and do that.
Thank
So, yes, you know what I'm saying? As a woman, taking more initiative, being mindful, like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Because I have to show him that he's wanted just like he shows me every day that I'm wanted. So I get that 100%. But I'm saying you also need to know your woman. If today's been a rough day, she not gonna come in, you know what I'm saying, mouth open, ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, please.
What?
But this, I feel like it's not like that before we get married.
Exactly.
Like y'all, somebody could smack y'all head halfway off y'all shoulder, and y'all still all crooked neck, just taking it all off. Hey, baby.
No.
Yes. Yeah. So
It's not like that because y'all put more effort into it prior to us getting married. When we get married, y'all don't put as much effort into it. So I do understand that portion from a woman having to want you want to be needed, you want to be wanted, and you want your man to continue to put that effort that he put in when y'all was dating. So yes, it's different because you did not have the responsibilities of a marriage when y'all was dating. Like it was completely different makeup from then.
Well,
When we got married, we had kids. Like we already had kids.
No. A lot of women, we ain't have to work that hard.
That's not the woman that you married.
Y'all was whining and dining us.
Oh.
But the woman that you didn't have to work hard for is usually not the one that you married.
This is true, but I just feel like y'all make it like we had to build a whole house before we was married, and now we just built the bottom floor, and then y'all be like, nah. It don't be like I don't know, bro. Maybe this is because all y'all went to church. Maybe instead of black women, maybe this specific topic. I think it's a church girl issue.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Because I was a partial church girl before we met, and I'm a partial one now. Like, no, I don't think. I just think everybody's need is different, and you cannot generalize all women because all women are not like that. Like I said, I'm different from the most. That's why I never commented when it came down to that portion of men needing the sex because I agree wholeheartedly with that. But I feel like y'all put more effort into it when we were dating versus when we got married because life happens.
Example. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
What do you mean? I mean, I feel
more
like
effort.
Y'all give more effort.
What do men do before they get married that we don't do?
No, it ain't before we get married. I will agree with her partially as far as like because we are hunters by nature. Before we hit, we are different. Like if when I'm pursuing you and you call me, I'm gonna put the PlayStation controller down and I'm gonna talk to you all night. And after I hit, I'm gonna hit you with the hey, let me finish the game.
I agree.
It has nothing to do with going into marriage because you know that you married me and I have a high sex drive.
Hold on. So let me ask a question because we all I know nobody like the word Christian. We all believe in Jesus. We all sort of ran in the same circles. So this thought hit me the other day. I read about somebody and they said they thought it was. Do you think that this is for lack of a better term, a consequence that God gives married couples who had sex before they got married?
No, I don't.
No, okay.
I don't at all. Because it was meant for our pleasure. What I do think is, but what I do think is how you were raised and taught about sex has a lot to do with how your appetite is. That plays a huge role into it. You are. It does. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not saying I agree with it, but it does.
So y'all ain't listening to Janet Jackson and being
And I'm not saying that we didn't, but for certain people, depending on the age of your parents, certain things were considered nasty. Like good girls don't do these things. You know what I'm saying? So our mindset was, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so it affected how we grew sexually as an individual. I mean, that's me speaking from personal experience. There's certain things that my mom would be like, oh, I cannot believe that you would even in your mind, but because to her, you just don't do that. I don't, no. So I agree. I think it does.
Don't you bring up your holy mother in this conversation. Hey, mama, I ain't gonna let it do you like that.
I'm just saying, I'm being honest though. It is. Whereas some girls grow up and say they see their mothers do certain things, or aunties or whatever, and certain things are just acceptable or that are spoken of when you talk about children being in adult conversations. You know what I'm saying? And they hear about these things and they're like, oh, we had to sneak and sit on the step to hear certain songs. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know them because we were supposed to know them.
Right. Okay. All right. So I think I got our next topic from something that y'all said and that you women keep saying day after day. So I'm gonna say this. We ain't gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna say it because this is gonna be for next time.
You women.
Yeah, you women. Marriage benefits women mostly. We really don't get nothing out of it. Because y'all do whatever y'all want, and they be like, if you don't like it, just leave. So you deny me my needs for 5 years and you get half my stuff? Nigga, what am I here for? What we doing? You wipe that disgusting look off your face, Siobhan. You ain't gotta like it, but it's true. And I ain't gonna talk about it because that's next Monday's episode.
Okay.
So you marinate on that and come up with y'all little lies.
I had no lies. So I agree with that to an extent.
So I have a question. I raised my hand because I had a question, and you never called on me. So I'm gonna just ask it. And I really wanted to ask this when Esso was here, but he's not. And I would ask Rick, but we don't know where he is.
Hey, hold on. You're hating on my mans out there. Shout out to my boy Rick Cash, Resellers TV. Look up Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Get you some shoes or something. He ain't scared. He just has stuff to do. He ain't got time to be on here messing with y'all.
Right.
He ain't gonna
We've been talking about this for days. You right.
Anyway,
right.
Is that what you had to say?
You're
That
right.
was your little hand was up for?
No, it's not.
What?
No, it wasn't. When we were talking about like sex and giving it up and having that whole conversation, do we feel that women of other cultures is this a reason why Black men tend to gravitate towards them? Because women of other cultures won't use it as a weapon against them, are more accepting of like, you can just get it when you get it and I don't necessarily have to have my needs met. Not saying that they're pushovers, but I'm saying, like, do you feel that is another reason?
I don't know. I guess that would be something to
This
ask.
question is posed to everybody.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just a woman thing in general. Because, like, even when I was going to shout out to Brother Rice, the greatest school in the history of this country.
Bro, let it go. It's been like 20 years. Okay.
We had like 15 presidents that came from Brother Rice. We don't need to go to college. Anyway, but like, you always hear, like, I would hear that from, like, my white friends' parents. Like, they would make little jokes. I think it's just a woman thing. I don't know what it is. I just feel like when women get married, it's just I'm good. Like, if we never do this, I'm absolutely fine. Like, I'm straight. Every now and then when I get them, I may accept Pam, but every other woman, you know what I'm saying? I just, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know it's a physical thing, so I know y'all be tired and all that other kind of stuff, but I don't know. It seems like a woman thing all across the board. I've never heard a married dude be like, bruh, I be tired. Like, we wang so much, I'm good, bro. I wear pants, I wear jeans and a belt to bed, so she can't get in there. Like, I ain't never heard a nigga say that ever in my life. Like, even hint to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's good, bro? How you doing? Dry as a desert? I feel you, my nigga. Like, that's how we greet each other. Like, that's how married men greet each other when we see each other. Like, it's like jail. How long has it been? Man, bro, I got 2 to 5. What you got? You know what I'm saying? That's how it be. And y'all be cool with that. Y'all don't care.
Bruh, I can't stand you.
Everything else.
I can't stand you.
I'm just saying that's how I do. I'm just letting y'all on the inside of how we do. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay, bro.
Just saying. But anyway, Zena, tell my boy I ain't gonna speak his name in the public because we don't do that. But you tell my boy, what's up? You know what I'm saying? The king of the salmon. The streets know who that is already. King of the salmon. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just want to thank all y'all for being on the show, man. I appreciate it, giving y'all line opinion. You know, as much one-sided.
Yeah.
But look, so next Monday, don't forget,
Sorry.
y'all try to make up a story about how marriage benefits a man, because I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't. We don't get.
I'll bring facts. I'll bring all
Yes.
facts.
Yeah. I
Bring
got
them,
some ideas.
I'm
but
bringing.
Bring
I
them.
am bringing all
Yes.
facts next.
Y'all
week.
have none. Shiny, don't try to act like you ain't around next Monday. Don't none of
Yes.
y'all try to duck the phone.
I got
Don't
plans.
worry.
I
I'll be
want
here.
Bring them, sis.
You have no facts.
I'll be here.
You have no facts. If we get divorced, who does
Ain't
the
no
court
if.
favor?
We ain't speaking that.
Who does the court favor when you
Bring
when,
them, sis.
when people
Next
get
Monday.
when people get divorced? That's all I gotta say.
So I'm gonna head out, guys, because I
I'll
gotta
bring
I
my
gotta get
facts.
I gotta get to my students in the morning.
Oh,
See
sorry
ya.
about that. Thank y'all.
Okay, see ya.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
All right,
Shani.
see you.
All right.
Okay, you welcome. Love you guys. Bye bye.
Love you too, Zena. You answer that phone now.
Bye.